Hello there, Fantasy League enjoyers. How are we doing? Hopefully, you got some success in the last stage, the opening stage of the Copenhagen Major. Mine was nearly great, but unfortunately, it was let down in the last couple of days of Diha and Sassanito in particular. Diha was very, very disappointing for me. I talked in my last video about how he was a bit of a gamble pick, but I felt like he was still worth the risk for the money. Wasn't the case at all. I wish I'd gone and spent that on Coez, who I did talk about maybe picking up instead. Sassanito was disappointing, as were Apex. Between the two of them, they got me minus 32 points, but I was carried big time off my belief in Hobbit, Nertz, and Kixan, who really got me into that top 20 position. It means I'm still 11th in the Celebrity League, but I've managed to close the gap a little bit and extend a little bit of a lead over people below me. So I'm hoping I'm going to get a similar result here into the elimination stage. But overall, it went pretty well for me. At one stage, I think it'll say here, actually, in the messages, I was top 8%, and I was loving it. I was thinking, okay, here we go. Brilliant. And I thought Ensign Apex were going to have their second win. Like, they were going to start to battle back. They were going to start to actually get me some more points. Had they have done that, I think I would have been in like top 5% sort of position. Wasn't the case though. So next into the elimination stage, and this is the team that I've kind of drafted up for myself. If you haven't seen it yet, check my Pick'ems video out. It should be out around the same time I'm going to be releasing these videos, because obviously we have a straight turnaround. There's no day off in between like before. Now it's just straight into the next stage tomorrow. So I'm recording these both at sort of the same time. I have a lot of faith in FaZe and Spirit to make it through, and therefore I wanted to stack those players. I think Chopper is great value for 195k still. Is he going to top frag? Probably not, but he's always just going to be chugging along, getting you a lot of points. And also, he does actually frag a lot better than he would suggest. Additionally, I believe in FaZe. I think this is where we're going to see what FaZe are really made of. Rops at 213, I think, is a bit of a steal. I know he's been having a rough one as of late. He's not quite been at that same level as like Frozen and some of the other players, who is about what 0.3 or 0.03 higher than him. But I think that Rops for 213k is actually really good value for money. Rain, this is where he typically is going to show his worth. He's a big game player, you know. Think about the Antwerp Major. People thought Rain was done. He was washed. He was going to get replaced. And then he comes out with an MVP performance. And I'm expecting more of the same from him here, to be fair. Maybe not hit those heights, but he's 203k in a team that I think is going to make it. I think that's pretty good value for money. And then I had like 178k left over. And honestly, I think that Eternal Fire could do pretty well in this stage and could even potentially progress and major just under the 1.0 rating for 176k, man. Like, that's really not bad at all. Like, that's actually pretty solid value for money for a team that's going to be on that periphery of potentially, you know, turning a few heads and getting a bit of a shock run in this major. I didn't go with Vitality players because other than Apex and Mezzi's not really like great in terms of rating, and also for the role you're looking at maybe headshot percentage, but it's hard to say. I didn't think that they were in a position where I could justify going in for them at like premium prices, because it was going to leave me on a couple of players that would need to be sort of economy based or budget picks. I'm very happy with the core of my lineup here, actually. I think Rops, Rain, Zontix in particular are going to bag me points. I think Chopper's going to bag me points as well, because I think Spirit will make it through. And then there's a possibility Zentara showing up and having a pretty good tournament on top of that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to buy that team. I've got 2k left over. I did check. I was looking everywhere if I could maybe like upgrade for an extra $2,000, and it didn't really make sense, so I didn't bother. In terms of the roles that we're going to assign, let's have a look here, shall we? Obviously, Rops has a very good CT rating, so I think we're going to put him on the good old defender. Where is it? There we go. Additionally, Zontix has a good CT rating as well. He's a bit lower in terms of like headshot percentages. His support rounds are pretty good. But I think instead of that, I may very well give him something else. I'm thinking about entry rounds, but actually 11.8 is not that great overall. You know, I think what I'm going to do here is, because he typically has a higher support rounds than Chopper, I'm going to give Chopper the leader, and I'm going to give Zontix the support. I always forget where this is every time. There it is. I'll give support to Zontix, and I'll give Chopper the leader role, because obviously with leader, the more games you're winning, the better you're going to go, and I think Spirit are going to get that one done. For Rain, could very well go for headshot percentage. He's 63%, so we'll go for the headshot percentage on Rain. And then for Major, we may be looking at slapping a noob on him, because I think, in all honesty, he is most likely to bottom frag on that team. Calix has been playing pretty well recently, who is another one of those players that's normally down there with Major in terms of the sort of overall standings. I mean, I can even show you, actually. Oh, I can't show you, unfortunately. But you've obviously got Xantares in that roster. You got Woxic in that roster. Although Woxic was a bit shaky in the opening stage, it was Xantares that was doing a lot of the heavy lifting with Arcadia and Calix. I just think in total, you're expecting the Major's going to be at the bottom of the scoreboard and not necessarily contributing a huge amount in that regard. It contributes in many other ways instead. So I'll add my boosters off stream. I'm not really sure what I'll add on top of those, to be fair. Probably like a 2 times on maybe Rops, but Heroic's going to be a tough opening matchup. But do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know your feelings and how you did in the previous Fantasy League. Like, are you floating around that sort of top percentage, or did you get completely wrecked? Did you maybe gamble stack a couple players on Ents? I've seen a couple people do that, in which case, rest in peace. You have my condolences. I'll see you in the next video.